Well, I don't see anything out of the ordinary here. Just doesn't want to fire. Fuel pump's running. I mean, like, I'm just like at a loss right now because... Welcome back to the channel. It's time to get the 67 C10 back on the road. Now, if you guys and gals remember, I lost second gear when I was doing the Pro Touring truck shootout. Now, I can still drive the truck. It just skips from first to third. So I ordered something from Summit Racing. Eventually, I'd like to T56 swap this old truck, but for now, we're gonna put a Summit Racing rebuilt 4L60 in it. Now, I got a 3000 stall converter in the house. It's gonna be a little bit aggressive for a stock transmission, but you know me, we're here to party. Now, I am actually way behind schedule on this. I'm supposed to take this truck on the Pro Touring truck shootout, but the first transmission I got was actually cracked. And you see right here, there's a big old nasty crack right there. Got to give a huge shout out to Summit Racing. They got me a new unit on the road right away. And R&L Carriers came, dropped this one off. They're supposed to schedule and coordinate with me when they're coming so I could inspect it, and they didn't, and they just dropped it at the house. And I was a little upset with them, but this unit is ready to go.
Yep. Right. Boom.
My way. Oh, a little more.
I can't.
Those guys are having a good time over there. Sorry, YouTube. All right.
Is that good enough?
Yeah, no, that's good.
Oh, hey.
Thanks. Ooh, almost Top Gunned it. Got her all loaded up there. Look, I got my credentials for the GM Tailgate Tour. That's the event I'm trying to get this truck ready for. It's only in a couple of weeks. March 24th through 28th. We're going from Sevierville. Here you go. Going from Sevierville all the way over to Myrtle Beach. 5 days, 5 stops. It's going to be a good time. I actually linked up with Robbie with United by Trucks. He's coming out, and then I'm going to link up with Matt from Metal Massacre Fab Shop, and we're going to have a good time. We're going to have a really good time. Let's fire this truck up here. Oh, yeah. You'll hear that? Skip second. Going to third, fourth. I haven't driven this truck in a while. I'm actually very excited and happy to be back in the driver's seat. Got a little dash pad for it at the shop. I might throw that in there before we go. I also, the amp for the stereo system went out in this thing. I don't know why. I mean, it saw barely any use. It was a kicker amp, so I thought it would last for a while, but got a new one coming, so we're gonna throw that in here too. Making sure nothing's flying out the back. It's gonna be a nice cruise at the shop. Hopefully we'll be driving this thing in a couple days. Well, look at that. That is awesome. Well, before I take this transmission off the stand, I want to see how high I have to jack the truck up off the ground to make this work. Because keep in mind, I don't have a lift. All right, at minimum, we got to be 22.5 inches off the ground. Yeah, I call it 22. Yep, oh yeah, yep. Ugh. Well, good thing we got 24 inches of lift out of my jack stand, so this should be a relatively, I'm not gonna say it. This is gonna be very difficult. This is gonna be the hardest thing I've ever done. Y'all probably wonder, man, what are you doing this for? Why are you scooting the truck over? You got this whole shop to work with. Well, floor's a little slippery right there. Well, I got the dually pace truck sitting outside, and I don't want to leave that truck outside, and I don't want to drive it home because I don't really want to drive it right now because that truck is for sale. So I have to pull the dually back in here, but this shop layout absolutely freaking sucks. Which leads me to my next talking point, and a little teaser for you guys and gals. This might be the very last build or big project that I do in this space. Oh man, it's still wet. So let me show you what I'm talking about. See in here, you got this nice big bay door, right? You can fit just about anything you want in here. However, you have an air handler right here for the AC unit, which is awesome. That sticks out further than the door. Also, you have a wall that comes out maybe 8 feet, and it has an electrical panel so you can't take it down. So when you're trying to pull in and maneuver, you can't really get enough of an angle to drive forward and turn because there's a freaking bathroom in the middle of the floor plan. So some of you astute viewers may have noticed I had to take the door off the hinges because when I get 2 vehicles in here, you can't get in the bathroom. So I got to scoot the truck all the way over so I could pull the dually pace truck in, and it's been driving me absolutely crazy. But going back to the new space, maybe at the end of the video, we'll take a ride over there and I'll show you guys the potential. No, it is the new world headquarters for Yeah Buddy Garage. Got her up off the ground. Oh, what do we got? 19. Huh. Oh, you know what? We could, since the frame, come in here. It's our transmission right there. So it starts right about here. And then if we get it down, we might have to pop off a header, but drop it down, slide it over. Or maybe I'll just try to get a couple more inches of lift out of it. Let me think about this. So I think what I want to do is just work with this right now. I don't want to take this header off. I do have to take off the exhaust. I knew I was going to have to do that. It's cool though, 3-inch stainless steel with V-band clamps. It'll come right off. But once we get the truck, or once we get the transmission down, I'll probably jack the truck up at the cross member and then so much room under here. I can't wait to have a lift. Will Yeah Buddy Garage get a lift in the near future? I don't know. You know, this floor is almost like having a dang creeper. It's pretty rad. Okay, ready for the exhaust to come down. Whoa, mama. There we go. Look at that. All right, we're gonna start popping off this pan here. I'm gonna drain as much of this fluid out as possible. All right, so I'm gonna kind of take out like most of the fasteners right here and then just kind of back these out because I want the pan to drop down and drain out of one side. Woo! Not what I wanted. Okay, so we got most of the fasteners out. So now I'm gonna do my best to take the pan off and then drain it into this drain pan right here. But as you can see, it is full. Yep. All right, here goes nothing. we go. Oh man. Oops, slow it down. Look at that, dude. Sweet. Doesn't really matter, but. Now that I'm under here and like really getting a look at, I haven't really been under the truck like this since I built it. So the event I took this to was the Pro Touring Truck Shootout, and I did the gnarliest burnout. And literally burnt my rear tires down to the steel. Well, anyway, somebody came up and they were like, dude, your headers were glowing. So I was like, oh, that's cool, bro. Well, it got super hot down here and it has like, here, let me pull this, see if you can see it. You see that? It started to melt the split loom for the harness there. And then I see some more heat damage up here. So while I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and put in heat wrap like I did on the transmission lines, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do it on all the harness because we do not want any issues with that. That will stop our fun immediately. It's really tough to see, but I'm just like getting these bell housing bolts out of here. Oh, there it is. Now I'm getting these flex plate bolts out. Just grab yourself a little pry bar. I wish I could show you, but it's a little too tight in here right now and dark. And you rotate the flex plate around until you see a bolt. And you take said bolt out of its hole and you repeat the process until they're all gone. I think there's only 3. Oh man, that one's in there. Stand by. So actually, I got this extension from when I did the fan in the shop. This is actually just like a ceiling fan extension rod. See how much easier that was? Broke these lines loose. Now these things should just pop right off. I got any juice in these lines? Probably a little bit, I would imagine. Uh-oh. We are maxed out on the jack. Now what are we hitting? Transmission is supported. I need to get a jack under here for the motor. So we support the motor. So we got the transmission and the motor supported. I gotta drop the drive shaft, get out the last bolt, then I can knock out this cross member, which I've already unbolted. It's an aftermarket Hooker Blackheart series cross member. So it's bolted right in place. Oh yeah. All right, slide this sucker out. Ah, my finger. Where's my phone at? I want to record this for Instagram. The eagle has landed. We got to come up like 4 or 5 inches to be able to fully get this thing out. This, dude, if I had a lift, That would be just amazing. But I don't. I gotta watch my motor too to make sure that it's not gonna sag down too. I shouldn't be too bad, to be honest, but I would like to keep this jack where it's at so I could just set everything back down and it'd be exactly where it was to help with getting this thing back in here. I think the motor will be okay. What was that? Oh, that was my drive shaft. Jeez, bro. It just scared the crap out of me. All right, transmission is out. We're gonna lower this sucker back down. We gotta move some things over to the new transmission, like this connector right here. You'll notice the tail shafts are a little bit different. That's because this came out of a F-body. It came out of a Camaro. So this is how, like, they have that strong arm center link thing connect to the transmission. Gotta take these AN fittings, put them on the new one. Obviously the dipstick. I mean, really, like maybe this little clip, you know? But yeah, we gotta move that over too. I didn't use that for anything, so I'm not putting it back on there. Sweet. Halfway there. Yep. Oh my God. I'm running out of steam here. Oh. All right, let's put on this torque converter here. You only really need to put a quart of fluid in. Whoops. Went a little fast there. You gotta go in with the seal where the seal is first. Just felt that. All right, now you're gonna feel two distinct clicks. Okay. And that was the second one. Might as well just spin it a couple more times to make sure. Of course, you know, just kind of refer to the manufacturer's specifications, but that's usually what it is. You feel two clicks when it goes in, and then you want to grease up this area here that goes into where the flex plate is. So whenever you put everything back together, it should go nice and easy. And it says the directions that came with this torque converter said to not pull the torque converter to the flex plate more than 5/16 of an inch. So if you have to go more than that, you're gonna have to shim it to make sure that the torque converter stays within spec. Let's get this thing under the truck, shall we? Oh man, I'm excited. Woo-hoo-hoo. Half a bolt hole. It is necessary. It must be done. Okay, so. Oh! We're on that jack stand. How are we looking on the jack for the oil pan? We're looking good. We definitely need to scoot it up a little. Just lubed up the torque converter and crankshaft pilot. Let's see if we can't get this thing in place. Oh, there's a perfect little spot on this transmission pan for my sticker. We're getting there. We're freaking getting there, boys and girls. Oh. We're getting there. All right, let's come down a little. So this transmission pan has a drain plug, which is pretty sweet, but it's picking up, it's at the back of the transmission pan, so it's picking up the back end. So now the transmission's kind of sitting crooked. And I have this jack right here under the motor. So I'm wondering if I could just maybe let it down a little. and then put it under the transmission and try to get that front end up a little. Oh, let me hop up here and see if I got anything in the way, any of the wire harness or any of that fancy stuff. All clear up here. Oh, I wish y'all could see this under here. There's just not enough room, guys and gals. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. This side's touching the back of the motor. How about this side? Oh my goodness, we're in both the dowel pins. First shot, dude, come on. That never happens. That literally never happens. All right, let me get a couple bolts in this, and I'll be able to slide this transmission crossmember back up to be able to get these jacks out of here so we can do what we got to do and get this thing torqued. We'll get one jack out of here. Oh man, that's awesome. That is awesome. I got probably got 5 bell housing bolts in, transmission cross members in. Now it's just a matter of hooking everything back up, and I got to retune the Holley Terminator X Max because we added a new torque converter, and I need to get in there and change the shift parameters, which we'll get into that later. Let's just celebrate the win. It's gonna drip right in my face. Also, kudos to Summit Racing for not skimping on the transmission pan. This thing is nice. Instead of having these transmission cooler lines drip all over me, I might as well just go ahead and hook them up, right? We don't want to do that. We do that. We do that. Okie dokie. Let's install the drive shaft. Wouldn't that be funny if it didn't fit? Actually, that would not be funny. I was just kidding about that. Moment of truth. It's not going on. I know she's got to be tight. That's... It's not funny. This is not funny. Okay, there we go. You little trickster. You little trickster. Okay, it's not going in all the way. There it goes. Woo! Dude, I was like on the verge of having a mental breakdown. Got all my bell housing bolts torqued down with the click method. And got everything hooked up here. Just tightened down my cooler lines. Got my drive shaft installed. Everything's looking really good. The next thing we have to do is come in here and look at the torque converter. So I haven't attached it to the flywheel yet, and it's supposed to spin freely. Well, I can't even touch the dang thing. Oh, there it is. Ah, my finger. Oh yeah, it's spinning. All right. So we're good to move on to the next step, which is, gosh, I mean, it's just so tight in here, guys. I can't even bring y'all in to really show you what I'm doing. Torque converter bolts to flywheel to the torque converter bolts, and then we'll put on our starter, put that little cover back on. Then we can put our exhaust back on, fill this sucker up, fire the truck up, retune it, see how she drives. Very excited right now. However, I am hitting a stopping point right now. I got to get back to the house. Walker's been sick for like 3 days, and Lauren's been home with him today, so I'm gonna go give her a break, and I'll be able to wrap this up tomorrow. But if I really wanted to, I could stay for the next couple of hours and get this dialed. But if I had a lift, this would be done. Got everything buttoned up down there. Got the torque converter bolts in, which these were actually a different size, so I had to run to Ace Hardware and grab some. Not a big deal. Got the exhaust back on, got the starter back on, got everything tightened up, and everything's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna fill her up with some transmission fluid. I think we need to put in about 12 quarts and kind of see where we're at. Of course, with this transmission filler neck, it's a low car aftermarket. It's an awesome piece, but takes a little bit of time to fill it up. Goes a little slow. Not a big deal. We got some time. So another thing that I have to do is reprogram the Terminator X Max ECU. So when I was trying to diagnose what was going on with the transmission before, I was kind of running through a whole bunch of stuff, and I made the shift patterns from 1 to 2 real weird, and see if I could like trick the system into making it shift. But since it was obviously a mechanical problem and not an electrical problem, we had to abandon that project. So I'm gonna hop back on my computer and reprogram the shift patterns. Super easy to do, very intuitive. I'll show you guys a tool that somebody shared with me to help figure out your shift patterns. And then we'll take this thing out for a rip. So something that's really helped me with dialing in these transmissions on the Holley Terminator X Max system is this Tuned by Blue Cat. Kyle Fannin and Matt Cooper showed me this while we were in Atlanta for C10s in the city. And you pretty much come in here, you put in your transmission, RPM, torque converter, your final drive gear, tire height, all that good stuff, right? And then it spits out, here's all your data for the shift points. So you can take those parameters and translate that to the Holley software to dial in your shift points. Because the truck runs great. Like, I got it dialed in as far as that goes, but the shifts have always kind of been funny. So I think putting in a bigger stall and going with, obviously, a new transmission, dialing this stuff in, I think it's gonna be real nice. I just ran through the Holley stuff and everything looks like it's where it should be. So maybe I reprogrammed it to be back to where it should be. I don't know. Let's fire her up. Maybe I should hook the battery up. That's weird. Well, I don't see anything out of the ordinary here. Just doesn't want to fire. Fuel pump's running. Probably don't have spark. All right, I just ran through the setup wizard on the Holley system. We'll see if that does anything. That is so weird, dude. We got to figure out what's going on. With the last couple minutes, like double and triple check in the harness, making sure I didn't pull anything out or accidentally disconnect anything. I found some loose connections at the battery. I uploaded the most recent tune back to the Holley Terminator X Max system. Nothing. Still got me stumped. But I found something. So I decided to start venturing out and looking at fuses. I pulled this one, it's popped. It was for door locks. Obviously, you don't have door locks on this truck. Which one's this one? So it's a 20 amp. I don't have any right now. Stop. It's probably like your brakes or something. If we put this fuse in here, it probably won't work. Nope. Okay, let's keep digging. The only other thing I noticed was, one of these was a little loose, and actually I moved it from that accessory port to this one. So I don't think it's gonna do anything, but let's give it a shot. Well, gave in and got on the phone with Holly, actually, still on hold. I just worked with one of their technical support guys for the last 30 minutes, running through all the checks, resetting the computer like I did, resetting the throttle position sensor, double checking we got signals from the crankshaft and the camshaft, making sure we got fuel, making sure, everything is doing what it's supposed to do for the motor to run. And he and I are both stumped. So he put me on hold. He's gonna go kind of look through this, but this is like a fluke. Like, there's something so stupid, easy, and obvious that it just has to be like something just, oh my gosh, dude. Like, and this has never happened with this system before. I've had it on here since 2022. I pulled the motor out, put a cam in it, put it back in, ran great. And I've been able to tune it, mess with it. Everything's been great, but dude, I do not know what the heck is going on. Of course, it has to happen on a job that was going so easy. Well, after an hour on the phone with Holly, we ran through everything we could think of together. Oh man. And we can't figure out what's going on. So we determined that there's something going on with a harness. And when I was looking back here, it looks like 2 wires got pinched in the bell housing. So I'm gonna pull these out if I can. I just need to relieve it. A little bit of pressure. I'll be able to take it off. Well, dang, man. I can't even get over there to show you guys. We smashed the heck out of those. So this Holly harness has a couple of runs they don't go to anything, or they're not for every application. But I'm wondering if this was disrupting the spark and fuel signal. Because again, everything else was checking out. Now before I do that, I need to tighten those bell housing bolts back up. Get this thing back on the ground. I mean, we could just start it up real quick, right? Nope. Dude, I'm officially stumped. So I don't have my multimeter here. It's at the house, so I'm gonna go home, get that, and come back tomorrow, and then start going through this harness, seeing if we got voltage to these injectors at all. And if not, seeing if maybe we could run some voltage to it and see if we can get this thing started. Just my luck, Anyway, it's whooped my butt for the day. I'm gonna go home and relax a little bit and get back at it tomorrow. Back at the shop, just took the old battery out, and I'm gonna take another look at these connections here. Let me show you. So this is our main power wire. This is the wire that goes to the injectors, and this is the wire that goes to the Holley ECU. So now when I took this off to change the battery, I wasn't left a lot of slack. Now keep in mind, I didn't wire this truck. I had it done by a shop, and the bed was off when they were doing all this. So they didn't leave you a whole lot of slack. So if you're trying to change the battery, you can't really pull the battery out and then do that. So anyway, I broke this wire connector. It was connected right here, and now I had to just kind of splice it in. So maybe tugging around on the system, the wires and stuff, maybe there's not enough current flowing through this wire, and I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna put a wire terminal on it and then see if we can get this thing back up and running. Well, you can see here, that's the wire. If we could focus on it, looks like half of the wire is missing. So you only got this half, so that very well could be it. Yeah, but it's just weird that it would be working fine 1 minute and then not the next, but stranger things have happened, right? Also got the boys with me today. Starting spring break. So we're gonna start with a fresh cut, just like a Christmas tree.
What day? Like month and day on it?
I got it done June of 2022.
But what day?
June 15th.
15th?
Yep.
So June 15th is his birthday.
Yeah.
Well, his birthday.
Almost 3 years old. Also, gotta say, not a big fan of the battery tray placement I went with here. Number one, should have been on the passenger side for a shorter wire to the shorter run wire to the starter. And number two, this is just kind of a pain in the butt, to be honest with you. Oh man. Okay, there we go. Oh man. All right, I got the battery hooked back up. Let's try this again. Nope. All right, so we got something funny going on. I've been in here trying to figure this out, and we got power to the main harness. We look in right here. Here's the power coming into the unit. Keys off. I was just down there at the battery. Why did the AC kick on? And nothing else is kicking. Oh my gosh, what is happening? Did you hear that? It just stopped. What's going on? Every time I move this, I don't know if you can hear the blower.
I hear it.
But it stops. Stops, running. Stops, running. So is this a bad ground right here?
AC, can you stop running?
All right, let me do some more digging on this. I am legitimately stumped. I've traced the harness all over this truck, making sure that nothing was pulled or no wire was damaged or anything was shorting out. And I can't find anything. I took apart those grounds that I showed you where the blower motor was kicking on. It was fine. So I'm gonna clean up the grounds everywhere I can, throw everything back together, try to get this thing to start, dude. I know the Holley systems are a little temperamental with their grounds, but it's very strange that it's been running fine for 3 years. And now all of a sudden, after I do the transmission swap, it just doesn't start. I don't know. Making a wee bit of progress. Yeah, and it jacks it up. Making some progress here. I want to show you guys what I've been working on. So this is the ground wire for the AC. So when I was wiggling this up here, it was kicking the blower on. So I disconnected the battery, then this end fell apart. So I put a new end on it. And then I started following the harness down, just seeing if there's any short. We definitely have some kind of short if that's kicking on when it's grounded. So let me see if I'm gonna hook the battery back up, see if it kicks on. Yep. Huh?
Whenever it was about to turn on and then it just immediately stopped?
Yeah. All right, let's see. Did not kick on. Okay. Oh boy. Still nothing, dude. Okay, back under the dash here. So this is another relay that we have for the Terminator X Max system. And somewhere in here, there's a, oh, here it is. This is the relay for the fuel pump. So what I have found is when I go to install this relay, listen. It's engaging as soon as I plug it in. It's not supposed to, so there's definitely something going on. So I'm gonna start here and start working my way down to the ECU, double check all my wiring for the AC, and then go in the engine bay, start doing that. Oh boy. I mean, like, I'm just like at a loss right now because I've literally gone through the whole harness from the battery to the ECU and the injectors, checked all my grounds, checked all the fuses in the fuse block, even though that's separate from the Terminator X Max system, checked the fuses in the Terminator X Max system and the relays. I just like, I mean, at this point, it's like, I don't know. I do not know what changed to the point of the truck not starting. It started and ran great for 3 years. And none of the wiring's changed. Other than putting in the transmission. So is there a problem with the transmission? Had a rare visitor at the shop, sales guy. So had to get him out of here. Yeah, dude, like I've literally started to disassemble the harness. I think that's going to be my next step, is just taking it all back apart. Well, I mean, I started going back through the harness back here and disconnecting everything and pulling back the wire loom, looking at all the connections. I looked at them down there, looked at them on this side, went on the cab. You know, I've been going through all this stuff. Everything looks great. I mean, some of the wiring near the headers got a little crispy, but there's none of the wires like melted through. There's no exposed wire. There's no short circuits anywhere. So, I mean, what is it? Could the transmission wiring be faulty and cause this many issues? You know, is it just like with my wonderful type of luck, just like, you know, a part has shorted out somewhere in here and now I have to figure out what it is. You know, it sucks. And I'm really running out of time because the tailgate tour is in like a week. All right, so I'm just throwing everything at it right now. The blower motor hasn't kicked back on since whatever that was. I don't know what happened, but it's not running now, and the ground's hooked back up. I got everything hooked back up in the engine bay, and I've disconnected the transmission. Double check the grounds on the back of the heads. I have opened up and looked at as much of the wiring harness that I can. I cannot see any damage to any of the wires. I mean, I'm down to like starting to throw like a cam position sensor and a crank position sensor at it and seeing if that fixes it, because I am stumped right now. It should literally fire right up. It should fire right up right now.